6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It is 9 a.m. We're a little early, and I'm thankful for one of these days I'm going to get it right. I'm thankful for my co-host today, Michael Domabyl of Cup of Colonial. There we go. My internet's a bit choppy today. Sorry, guys. This is literally the best expert I feel like I could pull in for Colonial Downs on a ton of different aspects. Stable duel, local to the track, and just a heck of a handicapper. So welcome, Michael. How are you?
Doing well. A little dreary Monday here in Richmond, but I'm excited to look at this Colonial Downs card.
Yeah, I'm excited. We were just talking. We think it's going to stay on the turf, so hopefully it does. That might change up your picks a little bit today, but we have 3 horses, but we agree on a couple, which is pretty cool. But I figure I'll introduce you a little bit more. So I went to Colonial Downs for opening day this year, first time I had ever been. And one of my friends texted me and she was like, I see a stable duel shirt. I see a stable duel shirt. And I'm like, what? And I go running out. And sure enough, there's Michael. He's wearing the shirt, introduced myself, and really one of our top players from the beginning. You have killed the game. You had a huge day yesterday. I feel like you have big days in general anyways. You play a lot of different tracks, but obviously you're very successful at Colonial. What's your secret?
There's no real one secret. You got to adjust to all the different tracks, all the different races that are in them. I think one thing that helps me in stable duel is really waiting until the scratches come out. I'm really waiting to set my lineup until the scratches come out because that can really change the format, especially with stable duel, you being locked into your morning line. If a morning line favorite scratches, then you're going to have a lot of opportunity to get some value elsewhere. So I think that's one. If I could give one piece of advice to other stable duel players, it would be make sure you adjust for scratches and surface changes.
Absolutely. So what has been one racetrack that you usually never played, but you have started to play because of stable duel? Do you have one?
I think Lone Star Park. They had a lot of good cards, especially Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I hadn't heard much about them, but I really started playing them a little bit more. They had a low takeout pick 5 that I got introduced to by watching their simulcast feed because I'm in stable duel lineup. So I think that was probably the one that I can think of off the top of my head that I wouldn't have been introduced to otherwise.
Yeah. Lone Star has been great. They were super fun when we first partnered with them. They latched right onto the concept and they helped promote. We were giving t-shirts away. I still have Lone Star t-shirts to give away. So we're excited when their thoroughbred meet comes back. But all right, well, let's jump in. So we have 3 Colonial Downs games today. As always, there's a free game. So if you are tuning in for the first time, download the Stable Duel app. If you need the link for the Android, please let me know. But there is a free Colonial Downs game. And then we have our $25 entry, and that is brought to you by manscaped.com. Use the code StableDuel for 20% off your order. Just a fun brand if you've never seen their commercials. I won't go into some of the words that are used, but fun brand. And I do have a t-shirt that I will give away. I think it's a large Manscaped that will be given away to the $25 entry winner at Colonial Downs today. So we have selected 3 horses that we think are must use in your stable. I have a value pick. We have 2 horses that we agree on, and then Michael himself has another one. But listen to this guy over here. This is where it's at. So let's start out with race 4. I'll let you start, and then I probably will have 0 to add after this. But who do you have in race 4?
So I went to the morning line favorite in Sky We Trust in race 4. I think this is one of your a classic stable duel horse in the vein that it's going to put forth a good run down the stretch. There's a lot of speed signed on here. A lot of people might default to Street Silence at the rail. coming off of a win in an N2L last time. But that's a pretty big step up in class, straight up from a restricted claimer into this non-winners of one. And there's about 3 other runners on the outside of him that I think can keep him honest. And then In Sky We Trust ran really well over this track at this level last time out. Put forth a good run down the lane. Was beat by a well-meant Ed Vaughn runner, Inhalation, who was bet down off an 8-1 morning line. And Michelle Lovell does really well with her turf sprinter, showing a flat bet profit ROI. And she has 3 winners with turf sprinters at the meet already.
Yep, definitely agree. She's at 33% right now. The last work of this horse was 59 for 5 furlongs. So it obviously is fit. 5-2, you're paying $8,500. But again, if you're paying $8,500, you think that this horse is going to win by a few lengths. So William's saying he thinks it's off turf. So just include that in your thought processes. But this is where we're at right now. So I was trying to also look for a value pick in this race. Flank Speed, the number 4 horse is 6-1, so $5,000. This has got some, but if you need something that's really value-wise, I kind of looked at Tempting Moment. Now, I want to pick your brain on this one too, Michael, and see what you think. So the speed figures on this horse is 50, both last times, and obviously can compete at 5.5 furlongs. This is 5 furlongs on the turf. But can this horse go up in class? So how do you overall look at value picks? What are some of the things that you look at on the cheaper price horses to make sure that you're not putting negative 20, 30 points in your stable?
I think one of the biggest things you can do for your value plays is look for races with smaller field sizes, just because you have less horses to beat. So even if you don't really like one of the longer prices on the board, if it's only a 5 or 6 horse field, all they have to do is beat 1 or 2 racehorses home, and then you're going to get positive points in your stable. So that's a lot of times what I'm looking for is races with scratches, so that the morning line the actual odds are going to be lower than the morning line, or small fields where you only have to beat a couple of horses to get positive points.
I love that. I love that. Okay, let's go to race 5. This one is yours and yours alone. Who do you have in race 5?
So I think there's a lot of different ways to go in this one, but I landed on Fast Car for Jack Fisher. And this is an angle that's worked pretty well at the meet so far at Colonial Downs. It's a runner that's coming straight from the jump races. So this one actually ran last time at Saratoga earlier in its meet. And 2 other horses have kind of made this move from jump races into a flat race at Colonial Downs, and both won. One of them won at 12-1 for the same jockey and trainer, and named Prayer Hope about 2 weeks ago. And both that horse and this horse had a maiden breaker over the flat well back in their career. But I think there's enough pace signed on that it's going to set up well for this one. And it's got that stamina built in coming up straight from the jump races.
It's interesting. I have never seen La Penta own, which I guess I don't really look at a lot of the steeplechase races, but I have never seen La Penta as a steeplechase owner. So shout out to La Penta hanging out with the steeplechase crowd. I like it a lot. All right, cool. So there's $3,000. You could definitely think that that's a value pick, especially when you are spending 5-2, 8,500. Attention. Okay, is it raining? We got lots of questions. So William, this is not confirmed from us, but we're listening to William here. Colonial's off the turf today, therefore jump races have been canceled. Cool. We've had problems with jump races in a wrap, so I'm okay with that. Is it raining at Colonial? Yes. Michael is there right now, and he says that the weather is not the nicest, so that's where we're at. All right. So let's go to race 6. We agree on this one. Number 8, Cool Comedian. I'm gonna scroll there. So if you want to start this one out, I'll add my thoughts there.
Well, the good news for this one is that it's on the dirt, so we don't have to worry about the surface change here and messing up our picks. And there's actually 3 races carded for the dirt today, which is a little bit more than normal. So even if the races are taken off the turf, at least we'll have 3 that were on their scheduled surface. I think in this race, all eyes are going to be on the Godolphin runner towards the inside, number 2, Lidstrom, who is actually a half brother to Nyquist, Kentucky Derby winner Nyquist. So it's interesting to see a a horse with that type of pedigree debuting on a Monday afternoon in Colonial Downs, but that's something that'll be pretty interesting and pretty cool to see. Even if that horse looks like $1 million, it'll still be about 40% of the price that they paid for it at the September.
I was just gonna say, I hope it looks like $2.5 million.
Yeah,
that's what they paid for it.
But I have some reservations about that one. Stidham debuted another well-meant Godolphin firster who was a half to Mystic Guide at the meet, and that one kind of finished a dull third. This one has been running, had been working out west for a while, then took a 6-month break and shows up in the Mid-Atlantic for Stidham. So I actually went to Cool Comedian, who's going to be a middle price in stable duel, $6,000. He had trouble at the start of his debut, which was a common race with Outworkin, who's the number 3, who's also not without a chance here. And then really took a step forward second out at Ellis Park, showed some speed, was part of a 3-pie pace duel. And then took over coming into the lane, but just got a little tired late and got overhauled by a couple other runners in a blanket finish. But gets to cut back a furlong here to 7. And Ed Vaughn, I mentioned earlier, sent over a winner at the Colonial meet already. So this one could be well meant as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you're looking at maidens, and especially first-time starters versus some of the maidens that have had a couple starts, you really want to see something that just like blasts off the page for a first-time starter, whether it's bullet works, whether it's like the breeding, the trainer stats, whatever. If you don't, and there's just a question, and especially if it's a short price, like that 2-1 on Lidstrom, I don't know that I would want to pay that in the stable duel game in a maiden race. So I think going to the 8 Cool Comedian 5-1. So again, middle of the line here, $6,000. The trainer stats, as Michael was just talking about, as well as the horse having 2 starts. The last time out, so the maiden special weight at 49K, this horse got a 79 speed figure. I know some people don't like speed figures. I am a speed figure girl. It just helps me like have something to think about and compare to. And that was with Florent Giroux aboard and got 4th only by half a length behind. So yeah, I agree with you with a 5-1 spending $6,000 here for Cool Comedian in a maiden race. There's some other shorter price ones if you all want to look at. Would love to hear if you guys are on other ones. We've got a couple people, Todd saying, love the show. Thanks, Todd. Spent 2 hours on Colonial Downs last night. We like it a lot.
You're paying, Todd.
Yeah, Michael, how long do you spend when you're looking at these cards?
I normally do 2 to 3 hours. I like to look at the speed figures, watch the replays, look at some other experts' picks, and kind of break down the races. It's a labor of love, though.
Yeah. Well, one of the coolest things, so last week I gave away a Secretariat shirt that was courtesy of Colonial Downs. So shout out to the track. Thank you guys for your support. And the guy that won it, so he won the $25 game. So when I messaged him, I said, congratulations. I'm not sure if you know, but you also won a shirt. He messaged me back and he goes, I spent 2 hours capping this card because I saw your video, because I wanted that shirt. So thank goodness it pays off and I won. So he saw the video, wanted the shirt, he spent the time, and it paid off really well for him. So he got the shirt and hundreds of dollars in stable dual cash. So not too shabby. So all right, well those are the 3 that I have. I threw that value pick in there, but value picks, take it or leave it, especially if it's not a short field. And as Michael said, for anybody that is brand new to the Stable Duel app, like absolutely brand new, maybe a handicapper, maybe not, what would be one of your tips for them getting into the free game today at Colonial?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think making sure you're looking at the scratches. I mean, the beautiful thing about Stable Duel is I think everyone gets frustrated about, oh man, there's this horse at 8-1 on the morning line that I love, and I get up to the race and it's 5-2. But that's with Stable Duel. You can use bad morning lines to your advantage. Yep. So it's looking at the races and saying which horse is really going to be bet down off their morning line, because I can lock in this price now, which is something I can't do in the pari-mutuel pools. So I think that's really the main piece of advice, is just looking for smaller fields or races with scratches and looking for where the horses are going to be bet down off their morning line. Because one of the best handicappers is John Public, and if a horse is bet down off their morning line, they're likely to outrun their morning line odds.
Did I get you?
Did I cut out?
I don't know if it was me or you, but so we were talking about smaller fields. We were talking about scratches. I couldn't agree more. And again, if you're brand new, there are free games in the app almost every day, like practically every day. So just get in there, have a good time, invite your friends. And again, if you need the Android link, please let me know. William Watson, Mr. Big News, big interest in race 3, which is on the dirt anytime. So there's a cool tidbit. Okay, so in August 16th, 1972, Sanford Stakes was the only race in which Secretariat was not the betting favorite. Second place finisher, Linda's Chief, held that distinction on the Saratoga afternoon. Virginia Handle has been huge. All right, there's a couple tips. I was actually talking about, so prior to us getting started on this, I was talking to Michael. I had a cousin drive through from Colorado this weekend, and they're driving through to Virginia. And her friend, I took them to see the Secretariat statue, which is massive here in Lexington. Have you been here? Have you seen that?
I've been to Lexington, but I have not had a chance to see the statue.
Okay, well, when you come to Keeneland, and we'll have you host you at Keeneland, you got to come see that statue. But we were talking about the movie, and I think if anybody is, if you're a reader, or even if you're not, listen to the audiobook. There's such cool actual facts in the book that don't exist in the movie. And for Penny Chenery, she rated Secretariat less than one of her other horses. And she actually ran, I think, them together. And then Secretariat, they would, go back and forth. But then obviously Secretariat came and was the beast compared to the other one. But super fun facts of, some of the reading of the books rather than watching the movies. But did you read Secretariat book?
I did not. I'm one of those people that just watched the movie.
Oh my gosh, the book is so good. And 3 books that I recommend. Wild Ride, that's the Calumet story. I could read that book 16 times. Secretariat, I think, is fantastic. And then, oh my gosh, I can't remember the other one. Oh, Stud. The other one is Stud. It kind of gives you the insiders of the breeding in here in Lexington and the thoroughbred world. So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's it. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, William, for commenting. Have to play Fake ID, Bramble Bay. Oh, there's a horse named Fake ID. Cool. I was like, hey, you got to do Fake ID today on a Monday? All right, that's fine. Good luck out there. You will see Michael's stable. It's Domabyl. You will see him in a lot of games. Give him the follow if you'd like, and see what he's doing moving forward. But again, Manscaped below, 20% off your order using Stable Duel. We're going to give away a Manscaped shirt to one player who wins the $25 contest today at Colonial Downs. And Michael, thank you so much for joining me. 9 a.m. on a Monday. I appreciate it. Cheers if you have coffee.
A better way to start your week than with Stable Duel.
All right, guys, take care. We'll see you later. Have a good week.